Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's show, where I will be sharing insights around the latest development from Microsoft. They have just launched Microsoft 365 Copilot, which essentially is an AI resource that helps to humanize the world of work by stripping out and reducing all those kind of tedious, boring, time consuming tasks so that we can bring more joy and creativity back into our world of work. So, before I dive into all of that, if you are new here, my name is Bybreen Samuels, and I help baby boomers reinvent themselves psychologically, practically, and technically so they can thrive in their third act of life. So, turning now to some context for 365 Copilot. So on Friday, just a couple of days ago, on March the 17th, you had Satya Nadella, who is the CEO of Microsoft, and his colleagues. They have just launched this really revolutionary tool that helps to humanize our working experience, our working life experience, as well as, whether we do it within our world of work. So the vision that they have, I absolutely love because it's sort of like the Microsoft 2.0 or maybe 3.0 vision and mission from here on in. And what they aim to do is to ensure that every single person on planet Earth rediscovers and engages with what the soul of their work is, and to really bring out that joy and creativity, which I think is a really powerful proposition. Why? Let's step back to 1975 on April the 4th, when Paul Allen and Bill Gates came together to launch Microsoft. Now, the vision and the mission then was, the idea was to have a computer on every desk, in every home, and in every office. Which, yeah, clearly they've done that over the last 4 and a bit decades. But that was very much about the hardware. It was a computer, and it was about our interaction with this computer, and we had to work out how this computer works. Fast forward to where we are today, and Satya's vision is about, instead of it being about the hardware, it's about the humanware. It's about us as individuals. And it's about creating this far more intuitive, nuanced way of engaging us as humans and machines. So we're feeling and seeing and experiencing the hybrid way of engaging. So when we think about that fantastic vision, and it's a global vision that every single one of us, should be liberated. It brings back the joy. So if we think about, for example, teachers, when a teacher went to train, they were invariably involved in a particular topic that they loved, and they couldn't wait to educate and share that with students. However, over the last 10 to 15 years in particular, they've been burdened with too much assessments, marking, designing the actual course curriculum, and it has taken them away from the joy of teaching. Another example are the world of nonprofit leaders. So here they are delivering great services to their end beneficiaries. Again, over that period of time, 10, 15 years, there's been an ever increasing demand in terms of monitoring and evaluation, and rightfully so, because they're receiving public money. But too much has been spent in terms of preparing all the data, preparing reports, and putting it together. So here we are with this revolutionary tool that says, actually, we're going to strip that layer away and bring back more of this sense of what brings us joy. So you're a baby boomer, and like me, we remember those very early days of, working in the world of work and office work, and as well as, in on plants or on building sites, etc. So we remember when Bill Gates was coming through, and this idea of having this computer on every table. But when we fast forward to where we are now, thinking about this 365 Copilot is quite ingenious. So the technology that powers it is artificial intelligence. And as you may be aware, artificial intelligence is driven by big data. But in particular, the element of artificial intelligence is around natural language processing. which is a machine's ability to interpret and read human language. And then the subsection of that is conversational AI. And conversational AI is the ability for machines to liaise and engage with us in human language. Just think about the chatbot on a retail website. Or if we think about Siri, we say to Siri, Siri, can you remind me to set the alarm at 7 o'clock, for example, or to go and pick up the washing or the dry cleaning. But you get the sense it's this conversational way that we are now able to liaise with machines, and machines liaise back with us. So that's the overarching technology that you as boomers and other people need to be aware of. But when we drill down in terms of the components of the technology, it's made up of three key things. So the ingenuity actually comes from this idea of using the existing apps that exist within the Microsoft 365 suite of apps. So if we think about, Word and Excel and PowerPoint and OneNote and Teams, which we use in our everyday personal lives as well as the world of work. So there's that. That's one element. The second element is around this large language model, which basically interprets the information that enables us to read it in kind of human text. And then the third element is around Microsoft Graph. Now, here, the graph allows the machine to read and understand the context of the prompt that we put in, as well as the content. And the beauty about this development is instead of us trying to work out what it is that Copilot wants and requires, it is learning us, our individual nuances. So it is with the power of our words, the power of our voices, that we're able to type in our prompts, and then it opens up this kind of magnificent suite of resources. So let me give you an example. Imagine here you are, and you want to plan your partner's 60th birthday celebration later on this year. So you may have had some initial discussion with caterers or potential venues, and you're undecided, but you're at the very beginning stages. So what you can do is to connect with Copilot and literally, put the prompt in. Copilot, I'm planning a celebration for my partner's 60th birthday. I want to engage his friends and his family, etc. So here's how you activate Copilot. So Copilot will then go in through the apps. There's information, no doubt, on the emails that you've exchanged. There may be information in terms of documents that you've put together where you're initially putting down the ideas. And so what Copilot does is goes in, starts to pull together all that kind of contextual information and content information. So therefore, it's both data as well as the usage of apps. Pulls it together and then presents you with an initial draft. And you'll look at it and you might say, okay, Copilot, what I want to do is to include some backstory, some memories, from his childhood friends or parents, etc. Can you start to pull that information together? What could that look like? So Copilot will then go back in, pull together this information and present you with another draft. And so this idea of the interaction between you and the machine then produces what it is that you're actually looking for in a very nuanced way, but strips away all the time and the headache from which you would ordinarily be involved with. And so that's one way in which you can begin to look at how could you utilize Copilot on a day-to-day basis that facilitates what it is that you want to do. So you're planning out this party and you're thinking, now there are some key people that you would love for them to do presentations. Again, you go back into Copilot, you're getting the sense of how it works. You become specific, you drive what it is that you want. Copilot goes out into the data using the apps, pulls it together, and then presents you with it could be a PowerPoint presentation. So here, just on trying to plan a party, you've gone through email, you've gone through Word, and you've gone through PowerPoint presentations in a way whereby I discovered this quote, this stat, that the majority of people who use PowerPoint only use about 10% of its capacity. And so Copilot opens up this myriad of resources that can really help to increase your productivity. So that's how you could use Copilot in your day-to-day life. And just think of all the myriad of different things that you do on a day-to-day basis. Remember, it's about cutting out this time-consuming element. Let's now turn to the world of work. And let's say that you're a boomer who's looking to get back into the world of work, or you're already in the world of work and you're looking to increase your value to yourself and also to your colleagues and employer. Here's how the magic of Copilot can work. So let's say, for example, you're a nonprofit leader and you were involved yesterday. So here in London and the UK, there were protests and demonstrations here in the UK about the government's proposed migrant bill, which is very pernicious, very burdensome in terms of migrants, very punishing, if they're caught coming here in unauthorized ways, then, their kind of asylum is going to be denied. So there was a huge demonstration. Now, imagine if you are working within the nonprofit sector and campaigning is a part of what you do, then here's how you could use Copilot. You could say to Copilot, okay, this legislation, they're trying to propose this legislation. We want to develop a PR campaign that rebuts this legislation and promotes a positive narrative around migrants and refugees. So Copilot goes in, pulls together this strategy. Let's say, for example, that you want to attract the attention as a local organization and a collection of organizations, but you actually want to be liaising with your MP, your local MP. You could go in to Copilot and, put your request. Copilot, we want to pitch the MP. We're building up this background around why we think that this piece of legislation that's being proposed, we need you to speak on our behalf. Again, Copilot goes in, utilizes the app. So this time it's combing through, your Word documents, your emails. So let's say that you've been liaising with a range of different organizations and you're coming together to kind of champion and campaign. Then you could say to Copilot, can you comb through all of the emails and summarize the salient points that can help us with our pitch? Copilot is able to do that. Now, let's think about how you would use Copilot in relation to Excel. We're coming to the end of the financial year. You may say, as a nonprofit leader, okay, Copilot, we had a fundraising strategy, we've raised some money. Can you now analyze how much money we raised in the last financial year or this current financial year that's coming to an end? The sources of funding, was it via individual donation? Was it via a high net worth individual? Was it by a private investor, for example? Was it through commissioning? Was it through grants? Just the whole kind of gamut of where you could go and raise money. And so let's say this is in an Excel sheet. So you would apply this Copilot, and Copilot would then go in and analyze. And this is the beauty of how it helps organizations. And it doesn't matter whether you're public sector, private sector, independent sector, doesn't matter. One of the things that organizations are really quite poor at is the use of data, and they are sitting on trillions of pieces of data that's generated by the objects of their organization. But Copilot could help you analyze that data in great detail. And so therefore you could use the results of that to project where you could be raising money in the future. And then thinking about this campaign that you're putting together, where money could be allocated for that. So that's how you would use Copilot in relation to Excel, for example. Okay, let's take that one stage further. For example, you now want to meet with your other nonprofit leaders to really kind of bolster this campaign that you're putting together. And you've arranged a meeting in a week's time, and it's going to be on Microsoft Teams, but you can't attend the meeting. doesn't matter because Copilot is in there documenting everything, everybody's point of view, everybody's perspective, the agenda, etc., etc. Now, you may not have been there in person, but what you can do is go in and ask Copilot, what were the key points that were discussed in the meeting? Were there any kind of divergent views? Were there alternative perspectives? What did I miss? How could I contribute to the meeting? And all of this is done. You're liaising with Copilot in real time and it's churning through, it's analyzing and then presenting you with the outcome. So that shows you how Copilot in the working world, that's just one mere example, obviously, but in the working world, it takes you through how you would use it in a document, how you would use it as an email, how you could use it as PowerPoint, how you could use it as Excel, and then how you could use it in the team environment. And all of this is done to increase productivity, unleash creativity, and enable you to bring the soul back into your world of work. So let's say, for example, here you are as a boomer, you're now going to dive in and looking at those key apps that are used on an everyday basis. So what you could do, for example, is begin to learn, well, how could I use Excel and then apply this Copilot? It helps you to build a micro portfolio. It only takes 2 or 3 examples that if you were called for an interview, one, you can demonstrate that you're ahead of the game in that you have some cognizance of some new latest cutting edge technology, i.e. in the form of this Microsoft 365 Copilot. You've tried it. So you've played around with it and you've created, this celebration for your partner, for example, and, how he's going to enjoy that, what you've got plans for that, and or you've used it in a work setting, how you've really utilized it to bring about all of the kind of facets of PowerPoint, for example. And so here it demonstrates you're keeping abreast of new technology. You're somebody who's with it, somebody who's certainly not resistant to learning new things. And here you are able to show how you can stand out. So that's it in terms of the power of this 365 Copilot that is revolutionizing our personal lives and as well as our work lives. And I love this idea that the workplace, the future of work, the current where we are now, and the future of work is this recognition that we people are more than just their job titles. And it will then begin to remove this layer. You're just going to work to tick off the checklist and to collect your salary at the end of the month. And actually, as consumers and as employees, we're going into these workplaces, and what we're looking for is more of an alignment around our values, what we stand for, and how we can be seen in our entirety. And one of the things that enables us to do that is how we can demonstrate our creativity and bring our joy, which means that our world of work becomes fused with who we are and then moves into the arena of being enjoyable. What I love about this is that this Copilot is a fantastic example of this quote. Now, just bear with me as I kind of lay it out for you. So the quote is, "The pen is mightier than the sword." Now, you're literally not picking up a pen to write on your laptop or your iPad, but actually the power of your words and the power of your intentions, once you ground them and you type them into this Copilot, literally opens up the trillions of pieces of touch points that exist within the internet per se and our little corner of the internet. And then within all the data that we've got, we're able to mine it in a way that's really meaningful to bring about powerful results so that we're living from our souls. And that's shown throughout our lives, but also through our world of work. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Go check out this fantastic, I believe, could be a very revolutionary tool. Um, if you're watching this later on, put in the comment box, you rewatching this, any ideas that you have, how you're engaging with this new technology. Would love to hear your comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That's it. Press that little button and like this episode. And feel free, please, to really invite your boomer friends, whether they're your parents, your friends, your grandparents, your colleagues, your neighbors who are looking to revitalize their lives, who are looking to reinvent themselves. And yeah, share with them. We're here every Sunday, 3:30, where I will bring you more insights, more resources, more information that helps you to thrive in your baby boomer years. So stay well. Until then, I will see you next week on next week's show where I'll be bringing you more information. So take care. Bye.